Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, Mule Fabrication. Please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. So, this episode, we are going to start on building the rear roll cage and then the roll cage system that ties back down into the frame in the rear. Kind of like a mix of a rock crawler slash pre-runner style cage in the back of this. So I'm undecided what I'm going to do for the interior cage yet, but we are going to start with this exterior cage. Thing's sitting on its own weight now, pretty pumped. So we are going to go from there and start bending a tube as the main hoop as the start, and then we'll lay it out with masking tape and see what we like. Sweet, let's go. So just from rough measurements on the truck and holding some tube up there, the roof has got a little bit of a crown to it. When I do these main bars, I like to start in the center. So I'll start in the center, put a little crown in it, we'll hold it up there, and then we'll make marks on where we want to start the bends for coming down around. So we're going to find the center, we're going to bump a little crown into it to fit the roof line of the Jeep, and then we will go from there. So find center, rough measurements on that show it's going to take about 11.5 feet. And this chunk here is about 12.5 feet. So I like to always do your tube work, make sure it's extra long, because then we'll bend this all out. You know, it kind of stretches and the lengths go different than what you expect. And then you can just trim it off at the bottom. Just want to make sure you have extra. All right, so you can see the roof line a little bit better. I made that one little bend, and I just marked right there on the tube on both sides, right where you start to see the daylight come through. So I'm gonna put a little kinks in those to get it to match the roof line a little better, and then we will have it back up here to testing again. All right, so we got those second bumps in, and what I'm gonna do now is my bender is a 6-inch radius. So from where this corner is, oh sorry, it's not focusing. Where this corner is where I want the outside of the tube to be, I'm going to measure in 6 inches, make a mark to bend the round outside corners on both sides. So that's how I'm laying that out, and I'm going to go bend that on both sides and we'll see where it ends up. All right, that's what I got so far. You see the nice arch for the roof, the corner line, and then that downward piece there matches the trim pretty well. And it's going to drop down, you know, about 8 inches when we trim the bottom off. So now I'm going to put a bend in there that way to start making it square with the box there. And then it'll be trimming the ends off and getting it fit down where it wants onto some nice plates on the box, which then will tie into the frame. Whew, I'm a little out of breath bending that tube manually. It isn't fun, but we'll go from here. We'll put some more bends in it. And see, sweating. Bending tube like this, I know my bender, and it's a little bit of a weird science. It's almost like a guesstimating science, trying to get it bent just right. And you'll learn that with your bender as you go along. All right, I got those other bends in. You can see there. So now I got to start cutting the ends of the tubes off there to drop it down to the right height. And then it'll be really fitting. But I am really happy with how all the contours and the bends match so far. You know, and once it comes down, that tube should be just right on the outside of the cab, right where I want it. Once that's in, we'll put a crossbar in, and then we will tie it all back here. All right, sorry about the glare of the light, but we got that fitted. You can see how it matches the roof line really nice. Comes down and matches the body angle, comes in, clears the box side, and goes down to a spot down there. Oh, it's not focusing. Silly cameras. But yeah, I'm gonna start laying some other stuff out, see what I like, and we're gonna go from there. Got the kickers down, and it turned out really nice. We're gonna end up, I just got the plates down there tacked in temporarily, and then it all makes supports underneath to hold it. But now we are going to probably put an X's in this to add some more strength, and we'll go from there. Starting to take shape. I think it looks pretty good if you ask me. So this is what I've been working on so far. So I got this crossbar in here that goes from the corner to the corner, and I put another bar along the bottom here. When you're making an X in a roll cage, you always want the solid tube to go on the driver's side because it's stronger, and most of the time there's always a driver in here. Chances are on the weaker side where you have to put section there and a section there, there's less of a chance of a passenger being in there versus driver all the time. So once you get this in, I like to use blue tape, and that's a good way to get the cross section in to where it lands right, so you don't have a crooked X. You want it to be nice and symmetrical. So you can see here it's about mid-bend all the way down into the corner. So we'll do that with tape, and then we will fit up these two pieces here in between. Right. Lower than that. And this blue tape works really good just for visualizing what you want to do on the roll cage system itself. Go right into the corner there. Stand back and look at it, see how symmetrical it is. And that looks pretty good. So I am going to measure this up, and I'll leave the tape up there while I'm fitting the tube in there, so you can kind of, line the tube up through the back of the tape. So let's go cut some parts and get this thing fitted in there. We got my baby brother here polishing his headlights on his new beater with the heater while I'm working on the cage. And as I was explaining to you guys before, I like the tape method for making these cross pieces line up nice in the center. So I chopped and coped that pipe until it just fit behind the tape. You can see it's a pretty even gap all the way down. So I'll get that tacked in place, and then we will work on the lower piece. Well, as you can see, I got this piece notched in great, and I got the lower piece for the X notched in. So we are going to get these tacked up. Sorry if the camera's shaky, the back of the truck is shaking, you see? So we're going to get these tacked up, and then we will start fitting some more tubing from there. You can see that goes right there. I don't know if you can see it with me in the way. But I'll get it tacked up, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. And there we have it, the cross brace for the back. I am going to put in a couple more pieces and I'll show you guys what that looks like in a few minutes. When you're cutting and fitting tubes and you don't got a good notcher and you're doing it all by hand, you take lots of trips back and forth to the truck, testing, fitting, making a little mark with a Sharpie and grinding out the circle or the bevel a little better. So each one of these tubes is handcrafted by Mule Fabrications. See? First rough cut of it. Unfit, but you know what? It's better for it to be a little longer and have to grind and trim it a little bit than it to be too short. So, from the looks of it, it looks like I got to take off another 1/4 inch on the bottom of the coat. And it should plop right in there nice and snug. I went back and forth a few times, as usual, and I think I got this one dialed in. Ooh. See that? Light tap fits in perfect. And I got the center of the roof marked right there, so I'm going to line the top of this tube up with the center line on the roof there. And then I always like to kind of stand back and look at it to make sure it looks square from a distance, because tube work is really hard, especially with bends and stuff, to keep square. It's kind of more of get it as close as you can and good to the eye. At least I've had good luck with that. And go from there. So we'll tack this in. That looks pretty sweet right there. I do not recommend welding close to a window like this, but just tacking, covering it up with my glove. If I was going to be fully welding this, you'd want to cover this up with some cardboard or something. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching. I am out of tubing. So this is what I have for the video for you guys. Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. And when we come back, I have a ton more tube I'm adding to this. I got a pretty cool little vision in my head of where I'm going with this, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. So check you guys out later.